So I'm in Fitzalan Square in Sheffield. This was originally the General Post Office in Sheffield, and I remember back in the 1980s being able to actually get a passport here for going to Ibiza in about 1982, I think it was. So we seem to have gone backwards when we have to now send everything in to apply for passports, etc. But this is an alleged Mudflood building, or an additional amount of ash that has fallen in the past, and it's raised the actual road levels around the buildings, which is leaving the buildings actually further into the ground. Doesn't make sense to actually put windows at such a low level in a building. I mean, if I go around Worksop, there's nothing like this around Worksop at all. Worksop's about 20 miles away, and you know, if really it was better to actually excavate the buildings out and actually provide basements, why is that not happening in Worksop? And if anything, Worksop's built on sandstone, and that would mean then that the foundations are going to go much lower. So I'm actually going to go up to the building and show you these sort of lower levels that you can see in the building. And you can make your own mind up on it. It's actually used by the university now, this building. We're sort of approaching Flat Street in Sheffield at the moment. So as you can see, this is the one window here, and then you go right down here. Not very good there, it's a bit blocked off, but you can see it there. Why build windows right down at that level? And on top of that, you can actually see corridors underneath as well. So this all goes down this side of the building behind the metal railings. Same all the way down. Got the lower window down, right down there. Got tunnels underneath that you can walk under, so that's a good 6 foot down there under that tunnel. So you're talking about a 15-foot drop in level on this side, all the way along here. It's a beautiful building. I've got a question for people. Sheffield's population rose from less than about 100,000 in 1850. I'll show you another level there. You can just see how low the windows are here. That's fair. We're actually at another post office. It must have been a post office before it, that's actually in red brick, and you've got the same thing down here as well, lower levels. This is a bit easier to pick out and show you. Got your windows right down there, and that goes along. So I'm on one side of Flat Street. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the other side of Flat Street and show you down there, but all this lot, it's all lower windows with like a corridor down this side. So my question to people is, how did the population of Sheffield grow from, say, the 1850s to the 1900s, from about less than 100,000 to about 500,000? Where did all the people come from? They didn't just come into Sheffield. Sheffield was only one of a number of industrial towns that rose at that time. So where did all those people come from? It would sort of go along with the ash theory, that volcanoes are triggered and damage the farming and things like that. So you can see how low that is. Right down there you can see that lower level, and that runs around right down the front of this building here. Just see how grand the building is. Yeah, so where did 400,000 people come in from for Sheffield from 1850 to about 1900? Were they all working on the land at the time? And was there some major volcanic eruption in the 1850s? But the point is, you still needed the people on the land to actually farm it for all the people that now lived in industrial areas. Some things don't quite make sense. But I'm coming down the other side of the building. I'm going to show you the lower level. So you could say, well, those lower levels is because it was inset into a higher plane on one side. You can see the building from this side. But these lower levels are even in on this side of the building as well. When I come round here, so this is the General Post Office, now the University building, and then you see all this additional like red brick as well. So it sort of converts from here, I think, to that older post office that I showed you further down. But now we're actually at a lower level, which I think all this building is part of the same building when you see the red brick building at the top. I'll just show you the further sunken levels on this side. So we're a lot deeper down on this side. So if it was actually built into a hill, and why do we have these lower levels here as well? Because this is on the other side, which is a much lower level. Are they just service ducts? All very strange really. This is much, like I said, this is talking about 30-40 foot lower than the other side. So if the other side were built into a hill and it left room to actually build further into the ground, why on this side as well? I'm just going to show you where I'm actually coming into Pond Street. See the Odeon cinema there. And this is a massive new building. This has been going on all through lockdown from April. Sorry, not April, probably, yeah, April 2019. The building work in Sheffield never stopped, and these have just come up everywhere in Sheffield. So this red brick building you can see here, which is the one I'm just showing you with some lower levels, well, that's right on the top as well, and that's the back end of the GPO building. In fact, there's actually a date on here, so let's move back. I think there's a date on it. So yes, you can see a date on it. Says 1909, Anno Domini. Like I said, I'm on the fence with the Mudfloods, but gentleman commented last week about ash falling, and that'd fit in with the volcanoes going off in the 1850s when there was a period of cooling which would have affected crop production. I suppose it's an ideal time to reset society. Move them out of the farms and fields, move them into industry, or was it something else? But I'll give you another thing to people. We've always been told prehistoric animals existed before man, millions of years before man, which it isn't true that. There was sort of prehistoric animals existing before Noah's flood, which then got wiped out. There's historical evidence of that on tablets, you know, on sides of buildings of prehistoric animals. So how would they have known about the prehistoric animals if they didn't exist prior to that? And we're also told the Grand Canyon was created in millions of years. No, it was part of the Great Flood again. It was just one massive eruption, instantaneous eruption. Can't explain what created it because we can't see back, but there was a massive eruption in the Grand Canyon, and there would have been rivers of water everywhere, whether it got hit by a meteorite or something, or was there some other reason. Anyway, I'll leave you to think with that. But this building here goes all the way to the back up to the top of Flat Street, and then you've got the GPO building next to it. So I'll be interested in your comments. Like I say, I'm sat on the fence with the Mudflood ash, or whatever you call it, but I'm quite willing to be proven wrong one way or the other. If you're still watching the video, I'm back on Flat Street, and this is the red brick part of the old post office, and then you see the more modern GPO building. Well, it actually looks older because it's in a stone type fascia, whereas the older part's in a red brick. So it just gives you a different slant on the building, showing you how it progresses from one side to the other. So hopefully if you've carried on watching the video after it's ended, you'll see that bit.